I'm going to be doing some numerology now. So we're going to start with number one because today is the first day of me starting my Gola, my Patreon page to have fun with astrology and other things that are going on. So I thought we start with numerology because it's quite fun. So if in your chart, if your date of birth is 1, 10, 19 or 28, then you are a number one in numerology. What does that mean? That kind of is like your path, if you like. So it's energy of your journey. So people who are born on those days will have a little bit like the energy of the sun, because sun is the first planet we use in astrology and actually rules the natal chart, is the karaka or the significator of your D1 or like your natal chart. And do remember that I use Sidereal zodiac. I don't use tropical ones, so you might want to have a look and just see how it pans out. But anyway, it will have that energy of Aries. And we know that these people are going to be, because it's where the sun is exalted in Aries. So these people will just kind of like the moment they walk into a place, they shine. There's something about them. They don't even have to say anything. People just notice them. So that is the amazing thing about them. And just like the sun, they are like the leaders, really. They are born to be leaders, whether it's at work or within a group they are friendly with. They are very good and they're very independent and freedom loving. And so they work pretty well. Even if they were an employee, they'll be really, really good to just be left to deal with the jobs at hand, and they will do it very well. They are loyal people, they're committed, they're honest, and there is a sense of originality about them. Because after all, this sign is the pioneering sign of the zodiac, the very first sign of the zodiac. So they are like a ray of sunshine, literally. They're quite demanding, and just like Aries, they're quite impatient. They are the initiators as well, because obviously Aries is a fire sign. So therefore, it's fire initiates things, initiates cooking, warmth, if you think, all that kind of stuff, initiates seasons. And they can be very direct in their speech and their mannerism, which can be misunderstood by others, but never really think that way about them, because it never comes from a bad place normally. But it's just the way they are. They're just direct, they're dynamic, they literally cut to the chase. They're not these sort of people who, they're not really into anything that is shallow or frivolous or chit-chatty. They are much deeper than that, really. They're confident, they like to get to the point, cut the chase, and they literally they are a little bit obviously pioneering sign, like a little bit like Christopher Columbus, being the pioneer and went overseas and traveled to find lands new. So they do start this sort of thing. They're a bit impulsive in everything they do. You can kind of know if they're moving around if you share a house or halls of residence at the university, you always know which ones are Aries, because they're quite self-motivated. So they don't want to be waiting for everybody else to shower. Or even in a family household, they want to be in there, get washed, get out, because that's it. They will not like to be waiting around, and people who just like, oh, I'll have a shower in 20 minutes. No, they'll just do it. And they normally, particularly if they're born in the first few degrees of Aries, Sidereal Aries, they tend to drive very fast. They walk fast, travel fast, talk fast. Everything they do is pretty fast, because they're always like on that kind of time thing. And they're very good at starting new things. So initiation is something they do really, really well. The way that they can come across quite demanding, but they're probably demanding of themselves as well a little bit. So I actually think that they could be misunderstood for that. Don't take it to heart. But they're very, very good at energizing, motivating others, friends at work, because they are the sort of people who at work, if you go and talk to them, they're still doing the job and they're still talking to you. They're not going to stop something because they have a job to do. They are committed. They want to see it through. And they tend to normally, they kind of want to work for themselves, or they want to be a leader or a manager or something. They want to be in charge, because they work hard, and that is what the sun is. Sun wants to lead. Sun wants to be better than the others, If the sun is a bit too strong, they can have ego issues as well in their chart. If you want to see where the chart, if the sun is too strong, this can, or in a difficult house, if it's like in Saturn sign or in Venus's sign, it can have slight ego kind of attached to it as well. But obviously, it depends on all the aspects. So I don't want you to just go thinking, I must be egocentric because I've got this, that. No, it doesn't mean that. You just got to see, what house it's in, the aspects, etc., etc. And also where it goes in the D9. That's very important. So they can come across a little bit like my way or highway, but you really got to see that they don't really come from a bad way. But it's with people like this, it's really good to have your boundaries in place, because you don't want to be trodden on. That's for sure. They're not all like that, though. This is what I've got to just say. It really depends on the degrees of Aries that they're born in. And because of the way they can come across a little bit self-centered as well. But I just think that's often is because they are actually misunderstood. So, but they're very quick at organising things. They're quite motivated. They literally, and they're not very good at hiding their feelings. You can't, even if they got they have this number, like number 1 as their number for their birth. But if they've got a lot of planets in Libra, they don't want to upset anyone. But so that can actually work against them, because it's almost like having too many planets in there can actually make them feel a little bit debilitated, Sun. But generally speaking, they are very good. They're very straightforward people. They don't have too many layers, like an onion. Some people have got so many layers to their personalities. They're not like that at all. Not like that at all. But they do like to help and protect others as well. So I would say if they're born in the first 13 degrees 20 of Aries Sidereal, which will be Nakshatra Ashwini, they're likely to be fast drivers. Very fast, and kind of fearless as well, impulsive, fearless, everything is done very fast. And also, if their 4th house ruler is in Ashwini, in the sort of in Aries, they could be Formula 1 drivers, or Formula 2 or Formula 3 drivers, or drive really fast. If they are then in the second 13 degrees 20, so from 13 degrees 21 to 26 degrees 40 of Aries Sidereal, then they will be in Bharani Nakshatra, which these people are more likely to be pioneers and initiate very, very original things, if you like. They're very creative. It's ruled by Venus, this one, whereas Ashwini is ruled by Ketu. And Ketu is a little bit headless, so that's why they can drive really fast. Everything is really fast. So in Bharani, it'll be more like the pioneering type of thing, and they will be, so they could be great sort of creative ideas, and they could be quite fashionable, the way they dress and things like this. And then the latter few degrees up to 30 degrees, so it'd be 26 degrees 41 to 30 degrees. Actually, it will go into Taurus at that point, but we're just going to finish it at 30 degrees. That will be like in Kritika. So these can be a little bit cutting with their words. So if you find as though the ego kind of sets in a little bit, it's because there's a little bit too much sun in them, and particularly if the sun is really strong in their chart, they could just think that everybody else owes them a little bit. So you've got to just be careful with that. So you don't want to be like upsetting or trodding on anybody's feet. So this is very important to use your sun, use that energy properly, you know. And and these people, they are very good at kind of editing, good with detail, you know, actually they're very good at cutting things out of their life that no longer serve them. That's it, it's done. And for these people, they really need to learn that this is like things that will help. Like for Kritika, I would say that they need to learn that cutting things out that no longer serve them is good. That could be things or people, but also not to be cutting with your words, depending on what planet rules that comes in there. You know, be careful with your words, because you could hurt some of these feelings. And really remembering that you're ruled by the sun, you know, being number one, and you should be actually reflecting your rays of sunshine on others. It shouldn't always be about you taking center stage. With Bharani as well, obviously pioneers, I would generally say it's always good to initiate things, but try to finish things as well, because that's one thing can actually apply to all of them, where they're very good at initiating, but are you really good at finishing? Because that is actually then when you actually feel you have accomplished something. And with Ashwini, because it's so impulsive, so fast, so kind of like, doing everything very fast, it's like, careful you don't cause your own accidents, think before you do things, and be very careful not to multitask when you're driving. That's it, folks. That's my thing about Sun. Sun ruling the first number one. So I look forward to seeing you on the next one.